Park, move these posts because some of this is garage sale pile and trash pile. So whatever you just took out, bring over there.
What's going on, YouTube? This is your boy, Mr. Micro Mike, and I felt like doing a live stream today. So I was just seeing how you guys doing, man, and let's go. Let's talk about some Lion stuff, man, and that's what it's all about. And it's Sunday, and it is a good day to talk Lions. Now we got some pretty big, well, not really big news, but we got some good news going on, man. And we heard that the Lions waived Trey Lamar due to injury. So I know a lot of my subscribers really thought that this guy could do something this season, but obviously it's not looking like that now. So it was due to injury from what I heard. What up, Doe Snacks and Tummy? What up, Doe Zoom? What up, Doe Chris Cashbaugh? Hey, we are just going to sit here and talk Lions talk for a little bit, and anything you guys want to talk about, I will give you my answer and kind of give you how I think. I think the first game against Kyler Murray is going to be tough. What up, though, Yu-Gi-Oh! Rex? Hey, look, man, when it comes to Kyler Murray, he was a great draft pick, in my opinion. I thought he has the ability to throw the ball, not just run like you always heard about in the NFL draft. I felt like this guy has the ability to definitely throw the ball, and obviously he is fast. So it just depends. The weapons around him, can they sustain a positive and continue to get all the catches? Can the defense sustain their defensive drives? But we all know that when we play against Arizona at Arizona, it's always a tough game. So what up, Doe Marcus Willis? What up, Doe One Pride? What up, Doe the Real Stafford? So no game, not a single game, is a give me, and that's the way the Lions need to look at it. We need to look at it as they're all competitors. Every team in the NFL is going to be hard, and if we think anything other than that, we will get an L. I think the best D-line in the league destroys one of the worst in the league by Lions a lot. I think the Lions' defensive line is fantastic, and when it comes to that first preseason game, we just seen a lot of second and third stringers, folks. None of the defensive line played, and we have a lot of talent up front, and that defensive line is going to eat people up and give quarterbacks a lot of issues. And I think, in my opinion, that this defensive line is going to be top 5, and it's going to be scary. Now, again, we can't look past any team, because if we do, that's how you lose. What up, Doe to Shepard? And so I am in agreement with you that I feel like this defensive line is going to give a lot of people a lot of hell, and I am in agreement as well that we cannot look past any team. I hope and pray we go 0-4 in the preseason. Yeah, folks, it doesn't matter about the score. When you think about preseason, you're evaluating the talent that is on the field, and what we found out a lot in week 1 of the preseason is Fales is no talented. He has no talent whatsoever, and we have to look at who did well. A big positive for me was Joe Dahl. He looked like he can actually play the guard position. Hopefully he wins that left guard position. He actually did well in the first preseason game. I can't say a whole lot about the rest of the offensive line to come second, third string, because they played very poor in my opinion. If I do not get to your question, folks, don't think I'm ignoring you. There's a lot coming up, so I'm trying to go one question at a time, and you just simply re-put it down, and I will get to it. So let's see. I hope, I watched that kid. They got the accuracy, but the velocity was just a little bit better than our current third-string quarterback. I expect him to run quite a bit. I think you're talking about Josh Johnson, possibly. If not, correct me, but I'll talk about Josh Johnson anyways. Again, I think he's a veteran. He brings a veteran presence to the Lions. Is he going to be on the team? Probably start week 1? Probably not. They're probably just utilizing him due to the injury to Savage, his concussion issue. But he is better than Fales in my opinion. I could care less about Fales. I think he is the worst quarterback in the NFL, and that's saying a lot. when it comes to Josh Johnson, he is a veteran. He did not have a whole lot of good statistics, but he's not failed. And he does run a little bit too as well. You think Wiggins will start? Shepard? Ooh, this is going to be, interestingly, I'm going to predict that Joe Dahl is our left guard. What I've seen from him in the offseason, what I've seen from him up close and up front is he is really built his upper body and strength. He was a little pudgy before. He's really built up. In the first preseason game, he held his own very well. Yesterday, he started for the first-string offensive line, and hopefully this continues. I think he has the ability to really get a lot better, and he is better than Wiggins in my opinion. So I am really hoping that Joe Dahl can pick it up and be our starting left guard, and that is my prediction right now. What up? We never travel good at West Coast and Southwest, Robert G. You are right. We have a hard time, and just like any team in the NFL, traveling from the change of time difference, the jet lag feeling. Any team that travels a lot, it's a lot harder than working at home, especially going out west. I used to live in Oregon. I can tell you that when you travel from Michigan to Oregon, it does mess you up a little bit. So let's see. Do you think Wiggins will start? No, we gotta hope the line does better than last year. That is what up, Dozoom. I 100% agree with you. That offensive line needs to be better than last year. That offensive line is key to the success of the whole offense in general. We need to have a power offensive line that can hold and keep Stafford upright. We need to have an offensive line that can push the running backs through. This is imperative. Now, there's a couple of keys to this. Not just we're talking talent, but we've got to see how Darrell Bevell's scheme when it comes to the offensive line, if it is better than KFC's. Without even looking at it, I can tell you it is better, okay, just because KFC was that bad. Now, we got to look at continuity. TJ Lang was injured a lot last year, and when it comes to the offensive line, continuity is key. These guys need to know what the other person is doing, and it is imperative that they coalesce around each other and understand what play is going to happen, exactly where to be. Now, I think that will get better as long as we're injury-free, and I think Glasgow will do fine at the right guard position, and if Joe Dahl starts, I think he'll do okay. He's not going to be a stud left guard, I don't believe, no Pro Bowl or anything like that, but we just need him to be okay, because we have talented running backs, we have a quarterback that can get rid of the ball fast, and he is squeaky through the pocket, so I think as long as it can be a 15 type offensive line, we are okay, and that's all that matters in my opinion, man. I think okay, so I got another Lions thing here. A kid just gave it to me. So it is vital that they just be okay. Even just mid-round offensive line, I think that will do wonders. He is a lock. Feel like you know that. They need good communication amongst one another. Absolutely, Shepard makes a great point. Communication is key. It is key to anything when it comes to a football game, especially the offensive line. They need to know what play it's going to be. They need to know exactly what spot they're going to be. They need to have the exact formation and hands and everything. It's got to be one unit instead of 5 individuals. If it's 5 individuals, the play will fail and the holes will be a lot smaller, and that's when you get sacked. So we need them to be a one-unit team, effectively hold the offensive line, and make sure that they get on the same page early in the season and continue to stay healthy throughout the season. And that's how we will succeed on offense, and it will just take it up a notch, and that's how we will get W's. KFC, absolutely. I couldn't knock the O-line. We didn't do a lot of pressure adjustments and shifts or even how hot routes to combat what sort of played through straight up. It was hard to judge the first string offensive line week 1 because they were only out there, I think, 1 series, okay? And you can't really judge it. There was not a whole lot of pressure or anything, but again, it was just 1 series. So we're gonna have to really. I think we'll really see the offensive line. We'll get a good look at the first string offensive line, week 3 of the preseason. That's when the starters play, usually one half in one series in the third quarter. Let's just hold our breaths until then and try not to make a whole lot of judgments. Now, we can judge individual people, especially when it comes to the second and third strings, like Terrell Crosby was a huge disappointment to me. Man, that was my guy who I thought was going to have a breakout year. Now, he may, but I was very disappointed so far from what I saw. I think they are trying to clear film on our offensive line backups. Absolutely, that's what it's all about. Preseason, folks, is majority about the backups, who can win that backup spot due to injury. There's a whole lot of that type of stuff goes in there. So you can't judge even the wide receivers week 1 because you had fails throwing the quarterback. It's hard to judge the offensive line when you have your quarterback who holds on the ball way too long and is not thinking where to go and not being precise. It's hard to judge the defensive line when basically no starter plays, so you gotta wait a little bit. Again, we will really take a deep look preseason week 3. That is the deep look, and folks, I will be unbiased. If they are bad, I will rip them a new one, and I will look deep into see what is going on. If they do great, then I'm going to say they do great. So either way, I want them to do great, but I have to be fair. Terrell Crosby had a lot of garbage blocks. He did. Patriots were sending everything too. Yeah, well, other teams are looking for other things in the preseason. Maybe Bill Belichick wanted to see how his pass rush, what if he throws a few different things at him again. All teams do different things, and like if you looked at our offensive play calling, it was blander than bland, and that's what I want to see in the preseason. I do not want to see anything spectacular at all because we will save that for the regular season. We will save that for the regular season, and bland is good in the preseason, but when Matthew Stafford is out there, I do want to see him do a drive. If he does one series Saturday, I want to see that be a touchdown series. Because if Matthew Stafford's in there, I want to see the speed when it comes to starting off strong. Now, we've seen in years past how they did not start off strong, and to me that's imperative. Start off strong, and that's what I want to see. I'm bummed we cut Trey Lamar. Yeah, it looked like he was due to injury, though, and so he was a long shot to make the roster anyways, and if he got injured, and we don't know what the injury is, it just said injured, then injuries suck, man. They're the worst. I mean, we had a lot of injuries in the preseason game. I think it was 6 in total, and so this is something that I want to see throughout the preseason. This injuries needs to stop. They need to stop. And that's another reason why I do not want to see a whole lot of starters in the preseason because injuries are bad. We lost Curse, in which, in my opinion, could be a blessing in disguise because Brandon Powell, in my opinion, had a great game. Actually, week 1 of the preseason. He got open, he was fast, he caught everything that came his way, and if Danny Amendola goes down for an injury or for a couple plays this season, we need to have a backup reliable for Danny Amendola. Brandon Powell looks like he can fill that. Now, that's a huge thing. And he's young. I like watching the progression of young players because that's how we do better in roster. That's how we do better in cap space. And that's just how you make a winning team. And as we know with Bob Quinn, he's been drafting right. So this is the type of stuff that we want to see. Let's see here. All I have is our run game needs to be beast, where teams can keep on their... What up, though, Sip Troy? Let's see. Yes, absolutely. We must have a running game that if the team does know what we're going to do, say it's the fourth quarter, and they know we're going to run it because we're trying to kill clock. I want to see them gash them 4 or 5 yards each time we run it, because that is important. I want us to run effectively this year, and I think we will. Now, we have the emergence of Ty Johnson, and that is a huge deal because he can now take over that Theo Riddick spot, and we can actually... What's good about Ty Johnson is he can run the ball. With Theo Riddick, he had issues of running the ball. He was good in that slot-type spot when it comes to receiver. Ty Johnson can run the ball. So now when he is in the backfield, it's not guaranteed it's going to be a pass or anything like that. He can actually run the football, and he's very fast. He's agile. He's balanced, and he was patient. Now, it was a small sample size, so we still obviously need to see more, but it's a huge positive for a 6th-round pick, and he looked good. He looked good. Having him emerge with the running back group really gives us we have a 4-headed beast. When you think Kerryon Johnson, C.J. Anderson, Zach Zenner, now Ty Johnson, if an injury occurs where a player is out for a week or two or out some plays, we have folks that can fill in, so it's not going to be that big of a deal. It is a huge positive to have these things. We need to have depth at every position, specifically running back, because, man, if we can't run the ball, it's going to really hurt our offense. If we don't have individuals that can fill that depth spot, it's going to hurt us. And that's not good. Sip Troy says, let's get those likes up. Hey, I am with you, buddy. Thank you. People were saying we lost a valuable starter, but prayers up for Curse. Yeah, look, Curse was a veteran. And it really sucks, man. Prayers for him specifically, man. That's terrible to go out and basically be done for the year before it even started. That is terrible. But again, I think that when it comes to Brandon Powell, he can fill that spot. He showed flashes last year. He showed his ability to improve so far in the preseason, and that's all we can ask for, and hopefully he doesn't get injured, because that would suck. But when it comes to these next preseason games, I want to see the other receivers as well. We haven't seen a whole lot of sample size because of the quarterback play and the offensive line play, so hopefully, we can see a little more when it comes to the rest of the young wide receivers, and they can get a sample size of what they do, and that's what we all want to see. Let's see, people were saying, okay, our run game was going quite good till Curse got hurt, and then it let off. Well, I don't know about the Curse thing. I think, is he cursed? That's a pretty bad pun. I think predominantly it was a mixture of horrible quarterback play and horrible offensive line play. I think the offensive line play for the second and third stringers was really bad. The quarterback play was really, really bad, and it hurt the evaluation of our running game in preseason 1. It did. Let's see. I was at the game, and that rugby kid was running better routes than Powell. He was just later option, and they didn't see him. Well, thank you for that, sir. That is something, Chris Cashball, that I want to see in these next preseason games then. Because we didn't get to see a lot of these people, and that's what sucks. That is terribly, unfortunate. But we still have 3 preseason games, so hopefully we can see these guys so we can put tape on them. This is what we need to see. This is something that will help the fan base out as well. Understand, hey, the sky's not falling, and we do have talent. Unfortunately, it's hard to bring that talent up when you had a bad offensive line and bad quarterback play, so we need to evaluate these young guys. We need to see them on the field, and if they decide to put more of the young guys on there earlier in the second preseason game, that will be a good thing, for sure. And yeah, we're looking good unit. The Curse injury, Wiggins had a holding call that threw that last drive. Yep, I remember watching that holding call. And I didn't, again, penalties didn't mean anything to me. When Ty Johnson ran that, I think it was like 12 or 13 yards, and it was a holding call. I could care less about the holding call. I seen what I wanted to see. I wanted to see that burst. I wanted to see that speed. And then when he took the left side and ran that bad boy really fast, that's the type of stuff I want to see. Yes, it sucks to get flags, but it means nothing in a preseason to me. They need to get better, and I want to see the starters get better, and I want to see these young guys learn to build upon the success that they are doing in camp and preseason, and hopefully give us a nice roster for the regular season. One prize says, who shined in the game for you? Well, easy to me, this is Ty Johnson. I've been hearing about this guy all training camp. Ever since we drafted him, I've seen his speed. When I went to camp, I did not get to see his speed. I was very disappointed. I wanted to see Ty Johnson, and what I seen was the sample size of Ty Johnson. I was very, very pleased. He is explosive, he has balance, and he was patient for the amount of time we've seen him in the game. He can be a really, man, him with that skill set to our adding back to our running back core can really make this offense even better. I mean, there's just so much weapons, on offense that it's going to have a hard. Defenses are going to have a hard time in stopping them. And you got to look, C.J. Anderson, Kerryon Johnson, Zach Zenner's no slouch. So you're adding to this running back core that is a powerhouse running back core. It's going to be awesome. And again, injuries are going to happen throughout the season, and it's vital to have depth. We know when you don't have depth when it comes to running game, it hurts. It hurts a lot. And so it hurt us in the last couple of years, and it's going to get better now, in my opinion. Just noticed you live. What up, though, Ed White? Well, thank you very much. I wanted to do an impromptu live stream just to talk straight up Lions football. And, I didn't do a Subscriber Friday because, you know what? It's been a long week, and I just wanted to just chill out Friday night. And so I figured, hey, it's Sunday afternoon. There's not a whole lot going on. Why not I jump on here and just do a quick live stream? Because I love talking Lions football, and it's something that I enjoy. It's something I truly enjoy, and why not? I don't care if there's one person in here or if there's 50. To me, I just like talking Lions football, and that's my thing. So I appreciate you coming on, and I'm simply answering whatever you guys want to talk about. I'm just simply answering your questions and go from there. Reeves Maben and Miles Killebrew, Mike Ford, and Awarie were both bad. I thought Jalen Reeves Maben had a mixed bag. He had some good plays, he had some bad plays. So I wouldn't say it was super bad. Miles Killebrew, again, he had some good plays. He had a little questionable plays, but again, he's in transition. Mike Ford had a little bit. Mike Ford had a little bit of a bad game, in my opinion. He was making a lot of mistakes. Awarie, again, it's a mixed bag because you got to think Awarie is a rookie 5th-round pick. He should have been a 2nd-round pick, though, cornerback. It's going to take a cornerback a lot of time to learn the position. It's not easy. It's going to take some time, and we don't need to throw him out there in a regular season game right now. He has time to learn, and that's what's great about it. What I did notice about Awarie, he needs to turn his head around. He needs to do the little things that the cornerbacks need to do, but he was staying with his receiver, and that's a huge positive. He's still got to work out a lot of issues, but he's not slow. He stayed with his receiver. He needs to turn around, though, and look for the ball and not play on the wide receiver where you're not turning your head around because it's just going to be a flag every time. You delusional Lions fans got back to reality, buffed up. Not really, but thanks for joining the chat. Glasgow looked good, too. He did look good, and that's what we've been hearing in training camp. When he went from center to right guard, the right guard position seems to be fitting him well, and it doesn't help having Frank Ragnow in the middle. I can't believe I just said middle. I am crazy right now. So it did help out. And buffed up, we're not delusional. We are Lions fans, and I'm sure whatever team that you are a fan of, that you will be that way as well. So let's see. Melvin Drew, what up, though, Melvin Drew? Thank you for joining the chat, my guy. Make sure you ask me any question you want. I will answer. This is basically just a quick live chat talking Lions fans. Whatever you guys want to talk about, we go. Ford and the kid from Penn State did bad, but they failed a single fix. They both young. Yeah, absolutely. They're both young. What is going on here? Okay, so they're both young. And again, when you're talking about young cornerbacks, it takes time to learn. We cannot judge, especially Awarie, we cannot judge him week one. It took Darius Slay 3 years. It takes time with these young guys, folks. So let's give the young guys a break. Just a little bit. Mike Ford, a little more high expectations for him because he did play last year, but he's still young, and he was an unrestricted free agent rookie last year. So, again, we just got to take time with the young guys. They're going to make mistakes, and hopefully we can see what Tease Tabor has learned in training camp, and he can get over his injury, and we can see him a little bit, because I think the battle is between Mike Ford and Tease Tabor, and so we need to know who is the better cornerback. What happened to the Lions and all this depth everywhere? Buffed up. Let me tell you something about depth. Okay. Depth is specifically not playing just second and third string all at one time. That's an epic fail, because you're having people who are not even going to be on the roster and at all going to be playing. When I talk about depth, let's talk about the running back position. We have depth at the running back position. Kerryon Johnson, you have Zach Zenner, C.J. Anderson, Ty Johnson. That's great depth. When we talk about the wide receiver position, there's good depth there. We have Marvin Jones, we have Kenny Galladay, now we have, it looks like Brandon Powell and Danny Amendola, and we have a lot of young guys that we haven't even seen play from the preseason, who I think, like Duhart, he can do well. Let's talk about the defensive line. None of our starters play in the defensive line. There is massive depth there. To suggest there's no depth is insane. When it comes to our linebacking position, again, I believe we have a really good linebacking position. We have some decent depth, and we're seeing the battle play out between Jalen Reese-Maben as well as Killebrew for a linebacker spot. When it comes to our secondary, we have a lot of depth there. You talk Darius Slay, you talk Rashaan Melvin, you're talking Coleman. Those are our three starters. When you're talking about the players behind them, we've seen a lot of Mike Ford in preseason one. We've seen a lot of Amani Awarie. We did not see Tease Tabor. These are young guys. It's going to take a little bit for them to learn. If they get thrown in a game, it is not going to be all of them at one time. It's going to be one of those. The one position where I feel like we don't have a whole lot of depth is, and what we've been talking about all year long, is the offensive line. That has been the question mark, and as well as the second string quarterback. That's what we're talking about, and it exactly played out the way that we were to see it play out. I mean, the second string quarterback ain't good. The offensive line depth is rough. So these are the issues they got to fix, and we all knew that. We all knew this. Let's see, Micro Mike. The execution will be better. They're evaluating players. Fails didn't allow that. He may not see football team until the starters play. Yeah, absolutely. When you talk about you're having second and third stringers play, does anyone expect the execution to be like a first string? Absolutely not. I don't care about score. I don't care about that. But I do care about seeing these young guys perform. Now, I seen in camp how bad Fales was and how long Savage holds onto the ball. It's exactly what I seen in this game. The one thing that did surprise me was Terrell Crosby. I thought he would get better, but pretty much everything was as about I thought it was going to be. I don't care about points. That means absolutely nothing to me. And if we win on Saturday, 40-3, we win Saturday, I could care less about the points. It doesn't mean anything to me at all. If Matthew Stafford's out there, I do want to see a nice drive. If he is not and Fales is out there, I don't expect anything to happen. Why? We're not going to have Fales as our quarterback. Having a bad quarterback, you can't. The one negative is you cannot evaluate the talent that, like the receivers, and so that's what the suck part is. And I think that's why we got Josh Johnson in here to at least alleviate that pain come week 3 and 4 of the preseason. Now, is he going to be on the team longer? Probably not. I see you, Chris. Hate seeing missed tackles from Ford, though. Yep, I do. Absolutely. When our starters figured in, we decent depth. It's super no is going to be next year before we're super deep. I think we're deep right now when it comes to depth players. Again, these young guys, they got to learn the speed of the NFL, just like any team. It's the exact same thing. Do not look at the score. Even if we win next week, if we win 50-3 against the Texans, don't say, "Oh, this is the greatest of all time." This, that, and the other. No. We have to look at the individual players. So, if Fales scores a couple touchdowns, which he probably won't do, don't look at that because he's not even going to be on the team. If the running backs do well and the offensive line starts to cohese, okay, we can look at individual players, but second, third string offensive line are not going to be playing unless there's an injury. So we do have to look at the first string, though. It's always vital to look at your first string. Now, if we start off, say, week 3 of the preseason, and Stafford's in there for one half and one play in the third quarter, and they didn't do anything, that's when I think I would start to worry a little bit. That's when my worries. But if we are in the third preseason game and Stafford gets a touchdown drive, gets 3 touchdowns when he's in there, that's a positive to look forward to. But let's not, if it's not our starters, if it's not the people that's going to be playing on Sundays, we evaluate them single-handedly, not as a group. Because if you evaluate them as a group, that's a fail. If you look at the Indianapolis Colts when they had, I think it was the quarterback behind Peyton Manning. I always remember watching this. It was a terrible quarterback, and they went 0-4, I feel like, every preseason. They were terrible in every preseason. And when Peyton Manning, Curtis Painter, and when Peyton Manning got in there for the regular season, it completely changed. When I think of fails, I think of a even less talented than Curtis Painter, and he ain't that great. So let's see. I never seen a lack of effort before with the Lions. You're right, Buffed Up. I do want to see a bigger effort. That is a positive. That you're telling the truth right there. These young guys, if they want to make the team, they better push themselves harder. And they need to have that effort in there. Just like you said, effort is key, man. And I did see a lack of effort, and that really frustrated me. That pissed me off a little bit. You guys are wanting to make a team. You guys are wanting to make a career. Put your best work out there. Work your tail off and get up in there. I mean, this is what it's all about. If you don't put your best effort in there, your career's over as a football player. Because you're not just looking for the Detroit Lions. There's other teams that's evaluating talent from every team. You don't put your best effort in there, you ain't going to get picked up. So, I agree with you. Buffed Up, that was 100% on the quarterback. Defensive overplayed offense, didn't have a chance to evaluate. Yeah, there was no evaluation process at all, especially when it comes to the offensive skill players. You can't evaluate the wide receivers. It was really hard to evaluate the tight ends, because the quarterback play was so god-awful. But, again, we will wait. If Fales starts again against the Texans, wait again. Don't evaluate that talent, okay? Wait. If Matthew Stafford's in there for one series, that's when you can evaluate the offensive skill set. Week 3 of the preseason is the time we need to really evaluate. Week 3 of the preseason. And if you're not a Lions fan, and if your team did great or good or bad in the preseason, wait till week 3. That's the best evaluation process for preseason. It is. Then week 4 is nothing. Those don't evaluate anything. What up, though, Noble Sports? Do you see them taking a quarterback early in next year's draft? If we do good, no. If we do bad, yes. I do think say that the wheels fell off, the Lions went at 3-13, I do see them taking a quarterback very early in the draft. If the Lions make the playoffs, not in the first, probably not in the second round, maybe in the third or even the fourth round, fifth round, I do see them getting a quarterback. Specifically, we got to have a backup quarterback. We have to groom someone. Because, look, if you don't have a second-string quarterback like we have not had in some time, if Matthew Stafford is out for a period of time, it is guaranteed an L right now, because these backup quarterbacks are really not good. We need to get a decent backup quarterback. You got to do it, man. It's at this point, it's a need. In my opinion, a backup quarterback is a need, and we need to draft one next year. Whether it be like the 4th, 5th, or 6th round, you need to find somebody, man. And I want to see that. I do want to see that. That's the one position and the guard position that's getting me a little frustrated. They need to get some work on that. Need to get some work on that offensive line and that backup quarterback position. Let's see, Snacks, I agree, brother. Missed tackles, a lot of, they got to tackle right, man. They do. Matty P is learning G from his, believe me, he is angry. Yes, he is pissed. I'll just say the word. I'm sure he is pissed, and he needs to be pissed off because effort is key. And I am not going to hold that. I'm not going to say they did great effort because they didn't. Now, Brandon Powell, in my opinion, had great effort. Man, he looked really good. And he was pushing through it. There's individual efforts that I could say, yeah, they did well. But as a whole, the effort was definitely below par. And there's so many factors to why this could be. One, it could be, man, they're in training camp, and so they could be getting beat up fairly hard, and they're a little rusty, they're sore, this, that, and the other. So, not making an excuse at all. I'm saying that could be some of the players, but the effort was lacking 100%. I'm not going to deny that. 32 teams, 40 players, each cut, each means that 1,280 possible upgrades. Let's take these few games and find out what we got. Yeah, I don't care about the score, man. It means nothing to me. So, there's definitely going to be players that's going to be released around the NFL, specifically when we get to 53. And I do see them making a play for whether it be a guard or a tackle that is not on this team. At this point, they have to. I thought Terrell Crosby could take that next step, but if he plays anything like he did week 1 of the preseason, they need to find someone else. Whether it be if a team released it, and if there's no quality individual that's released that they feel they can develop, or not a veteran, they need to make a trade because, yeah, we can't be playing around with this offensive line crap all year long. The only way we're gonna make some noise is you got to have a good offensive line. We will take this quarterback this time around. Believe me, we needed every player drafted, but Quinn and Matty P looked hard, had a hard lesson. Yeah, we have to take quarterback, period. I'm with you 100%. And look, you got to have a second string. Who knows? Maybe you get a guy in 3rd, 4th, or 5th round or 6th round that develops well. And we could say, okay, in a couple years, this guy developed where he takes over Matthew Stafford. I don't know. But right now, we do need to have a good backup quarterback because if you don't, it's a guaranteed loss. Right now, it's a guaranteed loss. If Matthew Stafford goes down, I give a 95% chance whatever team we are playing, we're probably going to lose. So you got to have that position in there. The offense, well-evaluated backups were bad. If any of them come in with the first during the season, I'm worried unless it's a run. A lot of flaws exposed. Well, Ed Whiting, I agree with you. I think if it's the running backs backup, I'm not worried at all. I can't evaluate the wide receivers. I can't do that because it fails. The tight ends, I'm not worried about. The offensive line, I am, yes. I'm really worried about that, boy. If we lose an offensive lineman, not named, let's see, if Joe Dahl goes down or Wiggins goes down, and we're down to something past that. Oh, and I'm not even high on Wiggins. We're in a lot of trouble. The defensive line, I'm not too worried about that. None of the starters played. Linebacking core, it could be an issue. Say if we lost to Tavai, that would really suck, or Jared Davis. If we lost Darius Slay, obviously that's going to hurt. Even Rashawn Melvin or Coleman, I think that could hurt a little bit. Not as much, but it just depends on what position. Quarterback, we're dead. I don't think so. If this was preseason game 3 or 4, to be a little bit worried, but they just got put here. You can't take much. Yeah, you can't take much of this, and it's all just depending on what player you're looking at. Like, to me, I think the wide receiver core, it's hard to evaluate, but I think it's okay. Again, we lost Curse, but Brandon Powell showed up a lot. I feel he can do fine. Cut C.J. Anderson and get Bolden off the Pats. We're not going to be cutting C.J. Anderson, and probably Bolden is probably going to be on their team. So I think C.J. Well, I've seen him in person, and He was shiftier than I thought he was. He's basically a bowling ball, and he'll be utilized a lot, I think, in the third and fourth quarters because he's going to wear teams out. I'm not worried about our running back core at all. I think it's the best. What up, though, Dennis Wilson? Competent quarterback make hot reads and hit hot route. I can't knock the O-line. People are forgetting how many less than 2-second throws teams make. Yeah, but I've seen a lot of bad play in the offensive line. I think Terrell Crosby did god awful. It was like he didn't even look. It was like he was asleep. But yeah, it's hard to make a whole lot of judgment with that quarterback. They will pick up some cut players. Yeah, for sure. I 100% agree with you, Melvin Drew. You're absolutely correct. They will. And that's a good thing, man. We need to really look at, hopefully they can get, look, I think Savage is probably going to be our backup this year. I think he's probably going to be the backup, but we really need to look at the offensive line, people that gets released. We really need to take a hard look at that. That's their number one position right now that I'm worried about. I am worried about the backups. I'm not worried really about the first string except for that guard position, but I do think Joe Dahl is going to take it, and he'll do decent. I think he will. Mike, oh yeah, okay. Coleman actually started at number 2 cornerback. Yeah, for just a little bit. Look, they're going to play Coleman. He's going to be utilized. You'll probably see in preseason. Number 2, number 3. They're going to mess with these cornerbacks a little bit because they're not 100% sold about the 1, 2, and 3. And also, when it comes to Patricia's defense, it's not guaranteed that the number 1 is number 1, number 2 is number 2, and number 3 is number 3. So he'll see them mess around with that a little bit. But what it will predominantly be, in my opinion, will be Slay, Melvin, and Coleman, 1, 2, 3. But they're going to mess around with it a little bit throughout practice. CJ looked like Blunt all over. Look, he had 2 carries. Let's not say he's Blunt. Blunt was doing some crazy dancing, and I seen C.J. Anderson in person. He wasn't doing the dancing. He did well in the game that I seen at Ford Field. So I'm not gonna worry about him until we see a little bit more. Now, if he starts, the rust hits him, and he hits that wall that running backs do, maybe I'll worry then. And I'm not even that worried. If it happens, we got good running back depth. We really do. We got Ty Johnson, we got Zach Zenner, and Kerryon Johnson besides himself. So I'm totally not worried about it. I think C.J. Anderson will be fine. He's got a role. He's going to utilize that role, and I think he'll be good. I think he will be. So I'm not too worried about that right now. Let's see. CJ had 2 runs into a collapsed line that got a few positive yards. Yeah, well, CJ Anderson is known as the bowling ball, and that's what he's going to do. He's going to be running, and the holes need to be opened up a little bit. But let's not judge it. Let's not judge C.J. Anderson until week 3 of the preseason. A lot of this stuff, folks, we got to wait till the first stringers are on the field to judge, a C.J. Anderson or to judge, an Amendola or anything like that. We got to wait till the pieces are on the field. We're playing against the number 1s of the other team's defense, and we have our number 1 offense on there. That's what we need to wait and judge on. And again, if next week we come out and we win 50-3, I'm still not going to judge it off 50-3. I'm going to judge it on the players versus other players. That's what we got to judge it on, and that's what we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see how that goes. Let's see, I got 14 likes and 27 people watching. Folks, let's hit those likes, man. Hit those likes up, and this channel can grow. The Detroit Sports Alliance can grow. We can take on the legacy media, and that makes me really happy. So let's get into more of the questions. Let's see. You are high as a kite. This team is 6-10 team. It does not matter how you arrange the brass section in the Titanic. It all goes down anyways. Jeff Terry, I disagree with you. I do not think that I am high because I do not take drugs. I do take muscle relaxers for my horrible spine that I have had major surgeries on, but I'm going to tell you why this team is not 6-10. So, let's start again. I've said this many times. I don't know if you've ever been here. We had Nevin Lawson. He was probably the worst cornerback in the league. We subtracted him with the addition of Coleman, who is last year the best nickel corner in the league. Will he be the best year? I don't know, but he is definitely an upgrade. Let's talk about that defensive line. It is completely upgraded. We have Snacks Harrison for the whole year. We got Mike Davis as well as Trey Flowers. Immediate upgrade. Let's talk about Rashawn Melvin. I think he'll be a fine second-string cornerback, and Darius Slay as long as he's healthy, so we're good there. Our safety position, Quinn is not on the team. He was old. I do believe that Diggs and Walker are going to be a really good when it comes to the safety position. Let's talk about the tight ends. Last year we had the absolute worst tight ends in all of football, and now we may have the best tight end group in all of football. What does that do? That does help you run the football, and that's why we got Darrell Bevel. We have two potential Pro Bowlers at tight end. I do think TJ Hawkinson makes the Pro Bowl. Jesse James, probably not, but he's going to be very good. Let's talk about Nada, who is an up-and-comer as well. He has great hands. Let's talk about our running back depth with Kerryon Johnson, C.J. Anderson, Zach Zenner, and Ty Johnson. Folks, this roster is upgraded. Now, the offensive line, I do have the question mark on, and I'm not going to deny about it. I do have question mark on the second-string quarterback, and I'm not going to deny it. Having Darrell Bevel, a competent offensive coordinator that knows how to make plays. He had a whole year off to learn new plays. He has been to the playoffs. He's been to the Super Bowl. We have a competent team for the first time in a while. Why do I think this team is not going to go 6-10? I just gave you the reasons why I think this team will not go 6-10. I believe they will go 11 wins. This is what I said. Possibly, it all depends on injuries. So if Matthew Stafford goes down, that I could be completely off. But if predominantly him healthy, I do see us winning the NFC North. So we can agree, we can disagree. That's fine. Absolutely fine. That's your opinion. But in my opinion, as I look up the upgrades, we are much better than we were last year. Now, last year, I said we were going to actually go 6-10. I predicted the record exactly. They went 6-10 because you're going from a coach who is very soft. He's a player's coach to an individual who's trying to change a culture, who's very hard. He had to make a roster change. He had to get players that fit his system. That's what he did with Trey Flowers. That's what he did with Coleman. That's what he did with Jesse James. That's what he did with Tavai in the draft. That's what he did with TJ Hawkinson. This is what you have to do to make that culture change. He is changing a culture. Now, when it comes to the preseason game, I'm not going to judge backups of the backups. I will judge the starters. Period. I'm not going to judge what Fales does because Fales is a garbage quarterback. I can't judge the wide receivers he throws it to because he is bad. I can't judge the running backs behind that second and third string offensive line because that second and third string offensive line was absolute garbage trash. So there we go. Kilgore on that D-line. I buffed up. I am with you, man. I seen Kilgore. I was actually talking to Luke G. I said, Kilgore, man, he did really well, but then he got injured. So hopefully he can get healthy. But I did like what I seen Kilgore, and if he plays next week or in the next couple of games, I'm going to be watching Kilgore. Everyone keep your eye on Kilgore. I play the game called Killer Instinct to remind me of Fulgore. So... and that's pretty cool. Sup, Micro Mike. Thank you, Vash. Preach, Mike. I will do. I respect your opinion. 6-10 is it. We are 2 years away. Hey, and I respect your opinion, Jeff. And you know what? In all reality, as much as I can speak, as much as I can say, it's not me running the team. It's not me being a player. They have to perform. They have to live up to their standard, and they need to get... they need to do these wins. They need to perform it because they have the talent. Quinn gave them the talent. Patricia, you have all the talent in the world. You got to perform. Matthew Stafford, you have all the talent on the offense. You got to perform. That defense, I do think is going to be sick. I think it's going to be very, very sick. I want a new quarterback. Okay, buffed up. And like I said, I think we do draft a quarterback next year, even if we do really good. And I'm not talking about first. If we do really good, I do think we take one, maybe third, fourth, or fifth. If we do really bad, I do think we take one with that. If we go 3-13, we're going to take a quarterback with that first pick. I can about guarantee that. I think the era... it'd be perfect time to get a quarterback. If we do 3-13, You can take that quarterback in that first round. You can throw him behind Stafford for 1 year and then let Stafford go after that. But I do not think we're going to go 3-13. Why is there so much hate in 1 year? Look, man, we're all Lions fans. I wouldn't say hate. I would say people want to win, and especially a lot of older people. I could tell you, one of my friends is 50 years old, man, and he is tired of losing. He just wants to see the win. He could care less about what we bring in. He just wants to see it, and I think that's what some people are. They want to see the W's, and I can tell them the way I feel and the way that if they want to listen to what we as the Detroit Sports Alliance say, or Everything King, and other people say, hey, you're taking the time, you're listening to our view, but I understand they want to win, just like we all want to win, man. Just like we all want to win. 8-8 floor, 12-4 ceiling. I am with you. What up, though, Bill Collier? The team is much improved on paper. I'm excited to see them. I am with you, 11-5. I think that is a reasonable and a very good one. Snacks and Tommy, preach. Thank you. One Pride. When they keep changing it, then. Why? I don't know. Ultra Combo. Yeah, man. I love that game. I got it for Xbox One. I love Killer Instinct, man. I'm a boss in that game. Preseason, got to keep them healthy and give you young reps to see. Absolutely. Man, Marcus Willis as well. We have a lot of 11-5 in here, and that's my prediction as well. I think that's a prediction that's about as real as you could get, I believe. I do not need to see them. I've been watching for 47 years. A culture change like that will take 5 years. I'm not all negative, but there are 3 years, and that's his opinion. Yeah, he's been watching the Lions for forever. He wants to see a W, and I'm with you, Jeff. I want to see that W as well, man. Look, I got older friends. My dad is a Lions fan. He's been watching it forever. He's 60-some years old. And we just want to see the W's, man. But this is what I like to do is I like to look and break it down. Break down what I'm seeing when it comes to the NFL. And so this is what I'm seeing, and this is my prediction. So that's what I'm going with. We disagree. That's fine, but we need to see some wins. That's what all that matters, man. I am 60 and waiting. Pat Hillis. I hope I'm not 60 and waiting. And so you've been through hell. You have been through a lot of misery. And I do believe this, folks. All the older Lions fans in there for sure. You've been waiting for a long time, folks. I do believe this is going to be a year that we're going to make some real noise. Real noise. And I don't want to get your hopes up and get that Kool-Aid going down your veins, but I do believe this is a big time year. When I'm evaluating and I'm looking at everything, I do believe the Lions are going to go 11-5. I do believe they win the NFC North, and they can make some real noise in the playoffs. I just think that defensive line is ruthless. That defense is going to be making a lot of turnovers from that defensive line, and Matthew Stafford has all the weapons to do long, sustained, winning drives and run the football. I think this could be a scary year. See some good stuff starting next week. I need them to put and adapt. Wait, Chris, just everyone wait till week 3 of the preseason. We will judge that. I will judge. I may go live. I don't know if you guys think I should do this, but I'm thinking of going live for the preseason games and do play-by-play. Now, when I'm at home, I do play-by-play. I'd be like, okay, he's in shotgun formation, set hike, he's a play action, so I'll do all that type of stuff when I'm actually watching the game by myself, and I take notes. So if you guys think it'd be beneficial, ask me if I should go live, and I could do like instant analysis to what I'm seeing and kind of give you what's taking place. It's going to suck if Fails is in there because that's boring, but I do think it'd be a good idea to actually be live during the game and kind of tell you what I'm seeing. For whatever reason, I'm minutes off from actually the game playing because I was talking to Luke G, and he knew the play every time before I had it. I'm like, come on, man, don't tell me the play before I see it. Saberwolf was a beast. Yeah, my kid loves Saberwolf. That's her favorite her favorite character because she could do all the combinations of Saberwolf. Mine is Orchid. I am a beast mode with Orchid, man. I think I can do every combo, every ultra there is. The first game was tough, but I got Hey, Jacob, don't even evaluate. Don't even really think about this next preseason game. Don't worry about it, man. Week 3 is the big time one that I will be paying a lot of attention to. So careful for what you wish for. If Ford sell the team, we could be in Nebraska Kittens because the team has moved. I say let's support the Fords and wish the better scouting and coaching. That would be suck if they actually moved. I can tell you that right now. I do not want the Lions to move. They need to stay in Detroit because that is the Motor City. Pat Hill says, do it. Ed says, yes. Oh, yeah, your opinion's awesome. I love your opinions. And about what I'm saying is I don't want everyone to let down against thinking they have a playoff team. Hey, Jeff, and your opinion is absolutely valid. And, hey, look, you've been watching the game more than I have. You've been disappointed more than I have. You know, you need to see some W's, and I understand that. Man, I mean, anyone can get pissed off watching the game and you're seeing your team get trounced. It's like, come on, man, you know. But we all have opinions, and we all have the same goal. Every single one of the fans, every single one on YouTube, we have the same goal. Win, win, win. It all comes down to wins. Doesn't matter how you do it, you gotta win. So, why week 3, the preseason? Okay, so week 3, the preseason is when these starters play the most. Okay, week 3 of the preseason is really the dress rehearsal. So the starters will play one full half, and sometimes will play one series in the third quarter. So you're actually going to get more diverse play calling, okay? You're going to get the starters out there for longer than any other preseason game, and you're getting starters on the other team as well. So it's the most preseason game you have to really pay attention to. Now, if the starters come out flat and they look god-awful, that's a worrisome, and you're going to hear me say it. If they come out and looking really good, I'm going to say it. That is the game, and pay attention to, even if you're not a Lions fan, pay attention to other teams as well. That's what I'll do, when specifically preseason 3. I will be talking to other fans of other teams. I actually talked to Ghost of Judah Tribe, and he's telling me the ins and outs of the Bears and players to look for and everything out. I know a lot of people have issues with Ghost of Judah Tribe, but me and him talk specifically about football, and I tell him players to watch for the Lions. We're really respectable about it, and I have a lot of friends as well as Vikings and Packers fans. So we communicate to understand what the other team has, because I pay attention far more to the Lions than the NFC North teams, but they pay attention to their teams great, and they'll send me their information, and I'll send them their information. And I will be paying attention to the NFL as a whole, week 3 as well, because I do fantasy football, and I will be doing a fantasy show on here as well with other YouTubers, not just Lions fans and Lions YouTubers, because, look, I like playing fantasy football, and it's important to know how the other players in the league are doing, and specifically the NFC North as well. So, will the DSA do a roundtable in person at a public location? I'm trying to get that done. I think that will be really epic. Now, when it comes to Noble Sports Entertainment, he can't right now because he lives in Arizona, but the rest of us can. Like you've seen, I was with JMO. Luke was actually going to come with us to Ford Field, but he couldn't due to his wife is pregnant. But yes, I would love to do that. Luke G also has a civilian job where he cannot show his face. So it's hard for him to do that. Maybe he would wear a mask or something like that, but he can't show his face due to his civilian job, and you know, it is what it is, but we would love to do a public event. I think, man, I was just thinking about that the other day, you know, getting a lot of us on there and going to an event, and I think that would be really epic, man. What up, Doe? Stephen A. Smith, prayers buffed up. Mike, I actually saying they don't concentrate on wins, concentrate more on development and building, and that's where, right now, in my opinion, hey, it's always good to develop in building that chemistry and building the culture. But I do want to see wins as well. Let me get the F in the chat for Trey Lamar. Yeah, I know a lot of fans love Trey Lamar, but it wasn't just let go to let go, though. He was injured. So the injury was not disclosed, so there's nothing you could do to injury, man. Injury it just happens, it happens. It's terrible. And I hope he can heal up and get better and maybe make a squad. If not, just heal up, man. So it was not let go to just let go. It said it was let go due to injury. So Jeff is correct. I figured the Lions would be solid shots, second division, anything else. And the bonus, I want to really see Bevel got year 2. Yeah, I want to just see this here, and I want to see it throughout the years that he's with us. F by Buffed Up, F by KFC. Nope, overreacting, but a little concerned about the Quinn where he brought in the depth. Hey, and absolutely, man. Press F for respects. I would press F. How about this? Let's see, F. All right, man. I can't press it on here because I'm actually on a different program. Let's see. So, KFC question mark. Yeah, man, he was injured, so it was not due to them just releasing him. It was due to injury, and I just got a subscriber, so I truly appreciate you subscribing to me. And if you just subscribed, let me know so I give you a shout out. Okay, Ed Whiting, no one blames coaching for preseason loss. The Patriots ran blitz packages second half, not hot route adjustments were ever made. Well, I don't want to judge. It depends what the coach is trying to do, and see, this is what's difficult when it comes to the preseason. If they weren't trying to show any play and they're just trying to be super bland, I'm not going to fault the coaches for that, because that is what they're trying to do. Now, if they were actually trying to do something, I'm going to fault them for that. Now, when it comes to effort, it's who do you fault? Do you fault the coaches? Do you fault the players? Do you fault everyone? I think it's more of an everyone thing. I think you can fault the coaches for effort. You definitely can fault the players for effort. But Ed, let's wait till we preseason 3 to really see how the scheme is built when it comes to the offense and defense. That's when they'll open up the playbook just a little bit more than what they usually do in the preseason. But let's wait till week 3. Not even the second. Again, if we do great next week, let's not just jump on and say, okay, they're Super Bowl contenders. Let's just look at the players on the field and evaluate them as well. We can't do a whole lot of evaluating until week 3, in my opinion. So but I love watching every Lions game. I'm super excited for the next preseason game. Why not, man? I'm just a big NFL fan. You are super cool. Well, thank you, Vash. I appreciate it. You are great as well. Okay, fair enough. Don't overreact preseason game, guys. It's annoying. Yeah, well, we're all Lions fans, and if we're not Lions fans, we're all NFL fans, and you want to see good football, so I can see why people get annoyed, because it was boring. It was really boring, and I was laughing after a while because the quarterback play was so bad and the offensive line play was so bad, but let's not overreact. As well as when it comes to preseason week 3, let's not underreact. Okay, that is something I am going to judge a lot on the third preseason game, because again, they play the starters a lot more, and they do open the playbook just a little bit, not a lot. They do open it up just a little bit to give you a kind of taste of what you're going to see in the regular season. So let's judge that. I will judge that. Okay. Stafford's contract now going to super team friendly. I want to see Bevel get his guys and develop him for 2 years. I agree with you 100% right there. Olson, what do you think about the schedule, though? Seems pretty tough for Lions. It does seem tough, and I am not going to lie. But if we are a playoff team, if you're a team that wants to win in the postseason, don't you want to frickin' play tough teams? I do. I don't want them just to play nothing but garbage teams, man. I want them to play tough teams. I want them to play against the Kansas City Chiefs and win. I want them to play against the San Diego Chargers and win. I don't want them to just beat scrub teams. I want them to beat the hard teams, and it is going to be a tough schedule. And that's good, because that's how you really evaluate the team, man. I don't just want them to make the playoffs this year. That's not my goal. I want them to be a force in the playoffs. And so you have to beat good teams to make the playoffs, and you have to beat good teams because good teams are in the playoffs. So Let's do it, man. If they want to prove to be a good team, they have to beat good teams. What was the great Ric Flair always said? The great Ric Flair, woo! He always says, to be the man, you gotta beat the man. And if they want to be the team, they gotta beat the teams. So let's do it. I thought I was already subbed, my bad. Hey, Stephen A. Smith, that's okay, man. I'm giving a shout out to you because you just subbed to me. No primetime games either. That could change too, specifically by the end of the season when they always change the primetime games. And honestly, I'm not a big fan of primetime games. And I'm going to tell you why. It's because of my work schedule. I work super early in the morning, and I like to watch them on Sunday. So if they have a Sunday night game or a Monday night game, it's hard for me to stay up the whole time and actually function and work the next day. But that's a little selfish. I am selfish in that stance, and I will say it. I think we have a chance to be good. Early wins of our starters can be healthy. I am with you. I do think that as well. I am concerned about our second corner. O-line is the key to the season. Not really worried about the rest. The real molesting. God, you're the real most steppin'. I thought you said molesting. Oh my God. Okay. Yeah, I'm with you, man. I'm concerned about the offensive line. Not too much about the second corner because I think Melvin will be fine. But if there's injuries, I would be worried. Definitely the O-line. That's what I'm worried about for sure. Joe Dahl hopefully wins. I think he does win. I think, Kyle, he does win. I think he does win. And he's improved. He's improved. He took that Tease Tabor approach, man. I seen him up front, and he was a little pudgy before, but now he's like a brick freaking wall. And he was laughing because I was like, Joe Dahl, dude, what the? You on steroids? I told him that, man. I'm like, my God, you beefed up in that top half of your body. He was freakish kind of looking, man. My concern is Minnesota fixing that O-line. Yeah, Minnesota, man. Look, Minnesota is going to be a decent team this year. I think they go 8-8, 9 wins. I think Chicago is going to be like that as well. I think they're going to be a good team. But I just think we're going to win. I think we're going to be better. I think we upgraded the roster and we did what we needed to do to compete in the NFC North. Vash says, we were horrible out the gates last year. I just hope we start out strong. I am with you, man. We need to start out strong. Big opportunity for 2 games, especially week 1, starting against the rookie quarterback. Yeah, and we cannot look past Arizona Cardinals. My buddy Noble Sports went to the game and he seated up front. He said that Kyler Murray, man, he's very talented and he's definitely worthy of that first pick. Even though I think we're going to win, we just can't look past any team. No one. We got to start off strong. Love prime time. I know. Hey, man, if I had a better work schedule, I'd love prime time as well. My big upset versus Chargers is we going to be healthy in a nightmare matchup. Man, that's going to be a good game, too. And I want to see him play against the Chargers. I want to see him play against the good teams in the league. It is going to be hard, man. It's going to be hard. We got to get Luke G, that mask off, scary movie. Yeah, he's like, what is he, Leatherface or something? Philly Chief game is key. Mines are Chiefs overrated, and so are the Browns. Chiefs, I think they're going to be a good team. I don't think they're going to get the same schedules they had last year just because it was. But that man, they got a good team, man, and I love Patrick Mahomes. I had him as my fantasy quarterback. It's still going to be a good team. The Browns, I think they'll be a good team. It all depends on how that coaching staff and all those egos can get along. Can they all get along? I don't know. If they can do well. If they can't, it could be a disaster. I mean, look at Antonio Brown right now. Antonio Brown said he's not going to play in the NFL because of a helmet. The dude's a basket case, man, and these people, egos, my God, man. Minor Chiefs Super Bowl overrated. Luke G, Scream, oh yeah, okay, we can get him in a Scream mask, that would be funny. 100% agree with the O-line, they're suffer, will make the best season, enable the run game to, we got to be balanced, absolutely, Jacob, and we will be balanced this year. This is something that Darrell Bevel is going to bring us. He's going to bring us balance, and that's pretty much guaranteed. You're not going to see this overly pass like we've seen in years past. If we lose to AZ, but lose again, if we lose to Arizona, I won't be pissed because we can't be losing to Arizona. We can't lose Arizona. They got a lot of rookies plus no OP. Look, man, I will be angry if we lose to Arizona. Oops, a win against the Chargers, Philly, second half, 3 sacks. Look, man, let's not overreact with the week 1 and week 2 of the preseason, and let's not underreact week 3 of the preseason. It depends on how much the starters play. All depends on judging the first string of both the offense and the defense. And when it comes to defense, if our defensive line ain't playing week 3 of the preseason, let's not do a whole lot of judging there as well. If Mike Daniels and Snacks Harrison and Trey Flowers, they're not playing, we're not going to judge that defensive line just yet. It all depends on if they're playing. With that said, folks, man, I have been on here for about an hour, and that's kind of what I wanted to get on here and do. Just talk some Lions football. What up, though, Antoine? Man, you came at the worst time because I'm about to get off. But you can rewind this bad boy. You can definitely rewind it. Folks, again, if you want me to do a live stream during the game, just let me know in the comments section. I already got a couple yeses in this comments in here in the chat. I'm thinking about doing it, and I will definitely, if I do a live stream, it will be more of kind of like how an announcer will do it. You know, I'll be talking about the formations. I'll be kind of analyzing exactly how it goes. It won't be me just staring at it and be like, oh yeah, oh crap. It'll be more of me analyzing it, calling out the plays. So if you want me to do that, let me know, and I will do that, man. With that said, folks, I appreciate you guys being in. I appreciate you guys taking the time on your Sunday to hang out and hanging out with me. With that said, folks, adios.